Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, come to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee, the home of Alvin York, Davy Crockett, Jeff Quinn, Dolly Parton, and many others. Yes, glad you're here. And I'm sorry, no music again. Maybe I should sing a few bars for you, like shooting down in the woods, wouldn't leave here if he could. Sorry, no music today. Good to have you here, though. Man, is it good to have you here. I have not done a Shooting the Breeze for so long. Your IQs have probably dropped because you haven't seen a Shooting the Breeze for a while. So, yeah, really. Yeah, it reminded me of a comment. Somebody on one of the Shooting Breezes said, why in the world are you talking? You should be shooting. Nobody wants to hear anything you say. Yeah, some don't, right? But these we do for the people who want to hear it. Isn't that what all media is about, really? Everybody has their own audience. There's a lot of stupid stuff on the TV, internet, YouTube, in addition to the stupid stuff I do, that I have no interest in. But so what? So what? If somebody has interest in it, hey, more power to them. But anyway, I do these just for my own fun, and for some of you folks who watch all the videos or most of them and the vlogs and everything. And anyway, 50, 60,000 people end up usually watching them, listening to my brainlessness. So, hey, why not do it? So I'm glad you're here. And yes, I did have a computer crash in Atlanta. And I don't know, something about the hotel internet wasn't working right, if I got a virus or what the heck happened. But Windows crashed on me, would not open back up about midway through the NRA meeting. And so it's in the shop now, and that's where my little audio file was that I used for that. And, computer issues are always fun, right? We'll talk more about that maybe. But cameras usually work, and firearms usually work, don't they? But anyway, we had a great time at the NRA meeting, and one of the biggest events there in Atlanta was just meeting you guys and gals, wives, children, and girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. So many people that we met at the meet and greets were there, like with families or friends or whatever, kids, and it's always fun to meet the entire group. And the faces behind the computer screen. So that's always great. And, we thank a lot of folks that help us, but we don't thank you all enough, because you all watch the videos. You make all this possible because you have such poor taste. You actually watch our videos. I mean, if it weren't for so many people who lacked good judgment and good taste, we wouldn't be able to do this the way we do it, at least. Just kidding. You know that. Well, 99% of you know that. I do kid a little bit, and occasionally someone does not get it, like the video where I mentioned about the owner of Tennessee Gun Country trading in his M9 for a high point so he could carry the high point in Iraq. There's still some people that fall for that one. I'm sorry, it's just me messing around all the time. But anyway, we had a great time. The freshest thing on my mind, I'll start with, is the NRA meeting in Atlanta, which is the gigantic exhibit. All the gun companies are there, and accessory companies and everything. And I'm always encouraging you to try to make one of those. Even if you don't like the NRA, go pay to get in, or join the NRA, better yet, for a year. And, and just go through. You would just thoroughly enjoy it. I can't tell you how many, like I say, families are there. You see a lot of children there, and just shooters in general. The cool thing too is you see gun writers, people. I generally will see Masa Ayub. He's one of my heroes, and I've been reading his books since the 70s, early 70s. And, he's a lot older than I am. He's probably 90, in his 90s or something, because, I've been reading him since I was a kid. Just kidding, Mas. But, it's just neat to run into the people in the industry and all that. I tend not to go to a lot of the big official meetings. I probably should go to some of those, but or speeches and things. Just tend not to do that. But John and I always have a great time there. We see lots of interesting firearms. Wow. One we saw, I had in my hand here a second ago, and that is the FN 509. Just got it today. I don't know when you're seeing this, but when you're seeing this, it's probably not today. Does that make sense? But it might not be too many days into the future. This is one of the most impressive firearms I saw there. New introduction, the 509 from FN. I shot a couple of mags with it today since I got it. Again, that's the advantage of being me. There's some disadvantages, when you have a low IQ and you're ugly. But there's some advantages when you can get a hold of some of these firearms and fire them. I fired a couple of mags because it just felt so good to me at the meeting, the samples they had there. And I tell you, it fits my hand like a glove. And it's not a big old gun. A lot of new polymer pistols feel pretty good in the hand. Even the Model 92F, FS, the Beretta, for example, feels good in my hand. Lots of firearms do. This one feels really good, and the trigger feels good. The smoothness of it, the contour of the trigger is what I'm saying. It's got trigger's getting better since I started shooting it. It's a little crunchy at first, but it's all right. Anyway, I like this gun, and I don't want to brag on it too much because I'm going to probably have to buy one for myself. This is an e-gunner. We'll go back to butts. Yeah, I really am. Right now, that's my thinking. I'm going to have to actually buy one and have that because I like it. I don't know if it'll replace my Glocks, but I'll tell you, I like it a lot. What else? We saw the new VP9 SK, the compact version of that, and that's impressive. We got one of those coming too. And of course, the much requested CZP-10. Saw that again, and got one of those coming as soon as they get them at Bud's. I've talked about how we don't really scramble to try to get things before they're out there at the shops. We just want to do them, though, before too long, right? Makes sense. What else did we see? I stumbled upon at the Smith & Wesson booth the Model 69. You've seen, we've done a couple of videos on that. And the 44 Magnum, lightweight, it's a 5-shot 44 Magnum. Which is okay, kind of like it. I'm not sure what I think about it. One day I think that is really a cool gun. Next day I'm not sure. I prefer my 6-shot end frames. So I don't know. But I saw it and didn't even know it was out there in I think it's not even a 3-inch barrel. It's a 2 3/4 inch barrel, I believe. That same firearm. And when I saw it, I didn't even know the model number. I saw 44 Magnum, and I picked that thing up. And whoa, I like this. 44 Special, 44 Magnum, and this size. Really neat little package, not too heavy and everything. And I realized, oh, this is a 69. This is a firearm I have, but in a shorter barrel. So, I don't know, I might try to get a hold of one of those for a video, But that's the cool thing about the NRA meeting, of course, again, is getting to see all those firearms and handle them and pull the triggers and all that. They have all the firing pins out. Pretty cool. In fact, who did we talk to? We talked to, somebody that was their job. Oh, yeah. Well, no, I thought I remembered who it was, but I guess maybe I didn't. But yeah, we did. We sat down, we were eating lunch one day, and a fellow sat down, kind of an official with the FRA and the NRA. He sat down and had a bite with us at the table, and turns out that's one of his jobs is to make sure every firing pin is out, or every firearm is non-fireable, whatever it takes to check and double check every firearm, and there's several people that have to do that, but he was one of those guys. People, maybe some gals, do it too, but and so anyway, you can snap the triggers they want you to and work the gun, all the kinds of stuff that you cannot do in a gun shop generally. You don't want to do too much, so you do it there. It's pretty cool. What else? Oh yeah, I saw the Remington version of the Mossberg Shockwave we just did recently, the video on. Saw the Remington answer to that. I knew people would bring those things out. They're crazy if they don't, because everybody I won't say everybody, but a lot of people that like firearms and is going to be interested in it. May not buy one of those, but they're going to be interested. And I know that it's controversial. A lot of people think that those things are totally useless. I think in the video John and I showed they're not really totally useless. But you may not have a purpose for one. People get funny about firearms, don't they? It kind of reveals, well, it's like everything. Here I am about to come up with something I think is profound, but it's true for about anything. People get locked into a corner on something, or they get their mind locked into what they like, or what works or what doesn't work, or what makes sense or what's sensible and everything. And that's it. That's the answer. That's the gospel, and you see that all the time in every area, of course, but it's prominent in the firearms world, because for one thing, we firearms people, we tend to be kind of an independent lot, and we know what we like, what we don't, and we speak our minds, and so maybe that exaggerates it. But boy, in the on the internet or in the press or wherever you see it, boy, a lot of people just they know that their way is the only way. Their road's the only road. Their firearms the only way to go. 1911, nothing else, or a Glock, nothing else, a polymer pistol, nothing else, or everybody's got the answer. Actually, everybody's got their answer, right? Almost whatever area you talk about. And one of the things when I was teaching, that it was the great thing about teaching literature and in English, that we spent a lot of time trying to encourage critical thinking, really. And I think not enough people do, or not enough people think critically, and including myself. We're all guilty of that, I think, but we get locked into things. And but anyway, there are a lot of interesting firearms, and that brings me to something I was going to talk about a little bit about, something a little useful, not just ramble, but I think I've talked about this before. If you're new to firearms, or if you're not new to firearms, try to separate the tactical types of firearms from just the firearms that you like, you think are interesting, that you think are cool. Would be fun to go shoot that on the range sometime, maybe a lot of times. So you want to buy it or something, borrow it, I don't know. I think that's part of the issue. People get locked into, the best carry gun, and I'm guilty of that. I've been searching my entire life for the perfect carry gun, the perfect defensive pistol, for example. There's always something, this might be a little bit better, and for various types of defense, carry on the belt, pocket, home defense, whatever. And there are firearms that come out constantly that might, like this one, that might make you think. I don't care what kind of polymer pistol you have, you like, as in terms of a defensive pistol, or hopefully not offensive pistol, but range pistol, I was going to say. If you're into offensive guns, please don't hang around our channel too much. Unless maybe military, I guess maybe offensive, I don't know. I don't care what you like. This thing's got to appeal to you. The Beretta APX wasn't bad either. We just shot. This thing just is. I'm not quit bragging on it, because I don't want them to be out of stock. And I don't work for FN. Y'all know that, I hope by now. We were at the FN, but we were at all the booths and looking at firearms. And I can't tell you how many people, reps and marketing people and all that, were trying to get guns to us, give us guns, send them to us to borrow, whatever. And a lot of them said, no, we don't need it back. And again, that's thanks to you all. So many of you watching. Just the exposure, right? It's not because I'm a genius, even though I am, right? Or that we do the best reviews or anything, necessarily. We don't even consider them pure reviews. We just give you our impression of them, give you some of the facts and information about them, show you how they work. But you're the reason for that, and that we get those offers, and you're also the reason we turn them down. In almost all cases, most cases, is because we want to remain independent. So we can't take anything from them. This goes back to Buzz and these major companies. Occasionally, as you know, if it's something that's really not competitive with anything else, we might, we kind of like to do a video on that. I don't know where we're going to get it, and it's going to give you a bunch of exposure. your company, and there's not any real competition for that thing, whatever it is. Uh, yeah, okay, yeah. We're not going to do it for nothing. Give you all the exposure for nothing, but we'll do. Yeah, that does happen at times, occasionally, and we always let you know where the firearms come from. And that question comes up occasionally, at least from people who just find the channel and say, "Where's he get all those guns? Where's he get all those guns?" And I always answer that the same way. If I see it, is the first video on any firearm at the shooting table. We tell you where that firearm came from. Is it mine? Is it someone I bought? One John bought? Is it one? It's from Buds, that goes back for the their e-gunner auctions, or what it is. So at least we're up front, okay? So what's going on there. We're never going to try to hide stuff, from you. We just do what we do. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, talking about the cool guns, I guess, at the NRA. Oh yeah, separate your tactical guns from the guns you just like, and that's where some of that really hard line comes from. I think sometimes, and you see all this criticism of some firearms. I think what some people are really saying is that's a terrible gun. That's a terrible gun. That gun sucks. All this kind of stuff. What they really mean is that's a terrible gun for a defensive gun, or something. That gun's not as good like the Mossberg Shockwave, for example. Yeah, sure, it's not quite as effective as a shoulder, 590. Duh, everybody knows that. And some polymer firearms, maybe that's not a very good defensive firearm. There's about 20, 30 that are better than that. Maybe this particular one is great for just a good range gun. We just did the Remington RP9. You haven't seen it yet. I don't think John's even rendered it yet, but did it this week. That's a firearm I would not buy. Wow, it's a big old thing, It'd be easy to criticize even more than I probably did, but it might fit somebody. It worked, that dumb thing worked, and it's kind of easy to hit with, but it's a big old chunk, so that might be somebody's perfect firearm. It might be, it's not mine, but it might be somebody's perfect firearm. It may not be a tactical firearm, is what I'm kind of getting at. It might be a firearm someone would thoroughly enjoy shooting at the range, or it's a home defense firearm. It holds, 18 rounds or something, it's a big old gun. Yeah, but hardly anybody would really think, that's a great carry gun, So it kind of depends on what you're doing. And of course, the more obvious examples are, a Henry 1860 rifle, for example, some people wonder, why would you buy something like that? What are you going to do with that? It's too weak to hunt with, maybe. It's not tactical. Well, no kidding. It's a piece of history and a really cool firearm, though. So separate your range guns you just enjoy going to the range and firing, or firearms you just think are cool. There's a cool factor there. You want to own it. There's no crime against that. People spend thousands of dollars on rims for their car or their truck, or mufflers that don't work, or so it's the different categories of firearms. So I'm always really impressed with a tactical, a defensive firearm that shoots well, that can be carried, and is also fun at the range. You can throw rounds out there and hit things at distance. I mean, that's really cool too, though, right? But anyway, separate those two, and this gun might be stupid for that application. This gun over here might be stupid for that application. Don't feel guilty because you find a firearm interesting. It doesn't have to be as useful as this gun or as whatever, 1911. I don't know. We can name guns all day. So anyway, just my little tip on that. Try to think about what that firearm is for. Why do you like it? Like the Bond Arms, for example. I'm not going to carry one of those, but it's just a cool little gun. And a lot of people look at it that way. And that's why they're so popular and they sell so well. So you could look at that and call that's the dumbest gun that was ever invented. Why would anybody buy one of those? Well, it's because everybody who buys one is not looking for the ultimate carry gun. They're looking for something kind of interesting, maybe something to stick in their pocket for snakes, or whatever it might be. So even though I was kind of hard on it in the video, I think I like to make sure I'm probably thinking of my own credibility in instances like that. I don't want people who really are gun savvy, really savvy gun carriers, to think that, like I think that would be a great carry gun, for example, I guess. So I might overdo it sometimes, and making it really clear that that's not necessarily a great tactical firearm. There's so many better choices for that, and so I might be a little hard on it. And the other thing that happens, boy, I'm really on a roll here, aren't I? The other thing that happens sometimes, I think, someone will come in occasionally and make a comment about how they're upset sometimes that I bashed their gun. They thought I bashed it, and I don't really bash guns, but I was too critical of a particular firearm, or I just didn't like that, or something. I had some agenda, and I think what happens, I've made this comment, you might have seen it before occasionally, I think in a world of infomercials, and I'll write that line sometimes, says, look, sometimes when you see an honest opinion about something in this internet universe of infomercials, I mean, almost everything we see is an infomercial to some extent, it seems like sometimes, doesn't it? Well, again, I don't mean to pat ourselves on the back, but we really don't have a dog in the fight. We're not paid by any gun companies or anything like that. And so when we're just giving honest opinions about firearms, I think sometimes that comes off as negative, just because maybe it's a little different. I don't know. I just trying to point out the negatives and the positives of firearms, what I like about them, what I don't like about them. Whereas if I really was doing an infomercial, and that company was giving us a bunch of these or something, or 6 of them, if I say, yeah, FN, can you fit John and me, 2 or 3 of these a piece? Then maybe they'd do it. Would like also about 50 magazines, We'll do a series of videos on it. Give you lots of publicity. I'm not, FN wouldn't do that probably, but I mean, some would. Well, then it'd be different. Would be afraid to criticize, some. But we're never in that position, okay? And I think sometimes it comes off as negative, just merely being objective, okay? Now, at other times, sometimes I go the other way because I just really like something. I have to be careful on this firearm, for example, when I do the video. Less as I shoot it some more, I discover some things about it that are more negative than I thought, because it'll maybe look too much like an infomercial, because sometimes I just really like a firearm and I can't find anything that negative about it. So anyway, a little word about that too, okay? To make any sense, and that's what I like to do, is just kind of talk to you in these things. We don't get off the topic that much when we're doing firearms videos, right? We're trying to focus on the video. If it's 15 minutes, that's a short video for me, 15 minutes, or 20, 25, or 30. We're focusing on the shooting and having fun and just enjoying that, and not other things other than our thank yous, right? And some people have a problem with that. Sorry about that. We don't even have an introduction. We don't have one of those annoying introductions to our videos. It goes on for 15 or 20 or 30 seconds or something. And so, there's somebody occasionally that is bothered that we thank the people that help us, which takes 15 seconds total or something, or 30 seconds. And I don't know. We're going to have to work out somewhere where we can send them their money back, I guess. But we do express thank you to the people that help us. And while you may not, you may not for some reason like Federal Ammo or Buds or the NRA or whoever, SDI, who helps us, that's fine. It's okay. We do expect viewers to have respect, though, for our decisions. Because, oops, sorry, I didn't turn my phone down. Slap that guy. That might be a text from, I bet it's a text from 22 Plankster. Yeah, it is. He wants me to come over and give him another shooting lesson. Sorry, guy. I'll text him back later. But we do expect, where was I? Now, we do expect people to respect, at least in the comments. Now, you can badmouth us at the bar all you want to, and amongst whatever groups you want. But, in the comments, we expect people to be respectful of anybody that supports us. To like them or do business with them or anything like that, of course, but we do expect a basic level of respect there, and not bash anybody that's helping us, in our comments on our own videos, like, duh, expect that to disappear, kind of thing, if we see it. So, but anyway, just throw that out there too, because we're really fortunate. Hopefully you can appreciate the reason that we can do a lot of firearms, and hopefully a lot of them that you are interested in. Some, you're frustrated we won't do some firearms maybe you like, but one reason we get so many firearms is because of our help. Anyway, we keep this thing going, and remain enthusiastic and really plan for the future. And what we want to do is because we have help from the people that are helping us, and we don't do that lightly. We don't take help from anything that we review. Again, I've gone over that before, but we don't review gun shops, right? So we can take help from Bud. We don't review ammo, really. We just need some ammo to shoot. We're not doing all these tests. Well, now this Winchester, and this versus this Federal or versus this Hornady or whatever. You will probably want to use this because this is a little. No, we don't do that. We just need ammo to shoot. We're reviewing, looking at firearms. We don't review gun rights organizations. Yep. So we can take help from a gun rights organization. Okay, and hopefully, get you involved too if you're not a member of some gun rights organization. And again, hopefully you start with the NRA and then join the others as well. All right. It just amazes me still so many people don't belong to any gun rights organization. The NRA is not perfect. Gun Owners of America is not perfect. Second Amendment Foundation is not perfect. None of them is perfect. You could find something or several somethings about any of them that, well, that was stupid. Why did they support that? Or why don't they do this? Why don't they save us in California or save us in New Jersey? Why have they done this? Always too much mail, too many phone calls or whatever. There's always reasons not to join them, any of them. But I guess what we're trying to encourage you, particularly, we kind of stayed out of that fight until quite honestly, till we got some support. And have always been a sponsor of the NRA or a supporter of the NRA, of course, and others. And we just decided, we need to get people into it. We need to get, John and I talked about it, and we know there'd be some hate, of course, because there's a lot of people that find a reason to hate, the NRA. But there's way more who obviously are very supportive of the NRA and are so happy and pleased that we're getting some help from them and that we're trying to get more people into it. And that's why we're doing it. But, and by the way, I was going to mention, and I've said this before, but I am a member of several organizations. I'm a member of the NRA first, have been, I don't know, since I was in the early 20s, I guess. The Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation, National Muzzleloading Rifle Association, the JPO, the Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership. What else? Tennessee Firearms Association. I guess that's all of them. Tennessee Firearms. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all of them. I'm a member of all of those. And again, I encourage you to join the NRA and then move on and join your state organization. Maybe join them first, but the NRA and your state organization, and then Gun Owners of America, the Second Amendment. Everybody has their niche there, I think. Everybody does something, and they work at certain angles, and some are better at lobbying. The NRA is a monster when it comes to lobbying and just the power. I mean, look at the news. Who makes the news? And so the NRA is looking at, like last week, California challenging some of the laws there. It just makes the news because it's a huge organization, and everybody knows, the left and the right, that they can have an impact. And the only reason is because there's 5 million members. We are the 5 million members. It's a grassroots organization. And then some of the others are good at other things, some of the legal aspects, and you get something from everybody. But anyway, back to, people that help us, we appreciate you supporting them. It helps us, and we want to carry on with what we're doing. Stay enthusiastic. Both of us, John and me, both involved in it full time. And I don't know where all I was going with that. But I know another thing I was going to talk about, speak briefly. This YouTube demonetization thing that a lot of you ask me about and how that affects us and what's going on with all of that. Well, most of you probably know by now what that's about. I don't know all the details, but it's because YouTube lost a lot of their big advertisers. What's that, been a month or two ago? And it's because of some of the videos, some of the ads from Verizon, or AT&T, or some of the larger sponsors of YouTube or advertisers. I don't know, their video got placed, or their ad got placed on some obnoxious videos or something, and that kind of thing. And then the old media made a big deal out of it because, the old media, they don't like YouTube and Google and all the kinds of things and social media soaking up all the ad money anyway. And they made a bigger deal out of it than it was and all that. But anyway, they lost a lot of ad revenue. And so we lost a lot of ad revenue, anybody that's doing videos. And it wasn't necessarily, the point here is it wasn't just gun channels. It's across the board, right? So everybody who has been posting on YouTube and makes any money from ads is severely lessened. Okay, you know that if you're doing YouTube videos. So that's what that's about. It's not an attack this time. It doesn't appear to be just on gun channels. We got to keep our ear to the ground and make sure that they're not using that as an excuse, but that's kind of what that's about. It's across the board. So be that as it may, that's what that's about. And hardly anybody really has been actually demonetized. Like your videos click not to receive ads. It's just that not many ads are showing. You look down through ours, you'll see an ad occasionally, but you don't see that many. So anyway, we're working through it. And again, we've got some support, and we're fortunate, and we're going to plug on. We're going to keep going, doing what we're doing. Thanks to you guys watching. It was neat to meet, speaking of you guys, you gals, I always say guys. Excuse me, I'm from northern Kentucky. That's why I was wearing a Kentucky hat. I give Kentucky a hard time, so I thought I'd put on the Kentucky hat here. Everybody see it? Kentucky, UK. And I kind of grew up, we just say guys is kind of common gender, if you're north of I don't know, South Kentucky or something. But I mean gals too. Don't ever mean to leave out the gals. So many of you gals are into shooting now, and we run into you all the time at meet and greets and other places. So many times now when a couple comes up at a meet and greet or something, I used to joke a lot, still do occasionally, about how the guide, you make her shoot too, or you make her watch the videos or whatever, so, yeah, well, I love the videos, or I love to shoot, or yeah, I got him involved, so, then my old guy comes out there, but it's great, because you're really women, wow, the fastest growing, I guess, group of shooters, and then young people. That's what's making such a difference in the shooting world, shooting community, and helping the Second Amendment stay strong, because it's becoming so mainstream now. We've got to keep that going, really keep it going. And again, we got so many more people involved in shooting, the last 8 or 10 years, and that's another reason we want to get them involved in gun rights. Get that membership, the NRA, the Gunners, whatever you want to join. Of course, we are promoting the NRA. They help us, and we want you to be a member there first if you can, and then join the others both, or all of them. I don't know. Just send them all your money like I'm doing, But everybody can't afford to join 5 or 6, gun rights organizations. I realize that, but whatever you can afford, it's a big help. It is. Because you can't go lobby, I can't go lobby, and dig into the details. I'm not a lawyer, and it's great to have other people, doing that, just like we hire realtors, generally to handle those sorts of things. But it's really neat to meet you all. Back to what I was talking about. We had a meet and greet at, Federal at Atlanta, had one at SDI at their booth, and at the NRA FFF, which is that Firearms for Freedom Foundation, connected with the NRA. Really neat, because you can donate firearms. A lot of people, when I don't know, some old guy like me dies, and the widow ends up just selling off the guns, whatever they get for them, doesn't know anything about them, whatever. And this foundation enables them to, they can donate those if they don't need the money to the NRA FFF. They auction them off, and that goes to the NRA. It's a great call. And the cool thing is they get, good money for them. because when you put guns on an auction, you dressing the entire country at least, and so you can sell anything on an auction and get pretty much a fair price. May not get quite as much as you wanted, and sometimes you get more than you want, and all, or it planned. Auctions go. But anyway, Buds, it was great because we did a meet and greet there, because Buds works with the NRA FFF. If you saw the L.C. Smith shotgun, I explained some of that. So Buds is working with the NRA to handle those auctions, an e-gunner. And they get the guns, and then they auction, and money goes to NRA, and so they're working with them. And it's great that the NRA trusts, Buds to handle all that. And it's great that both of them are supporters of ours. So it's kind of neat working with those folks. So we did a meet and greet there. Met a lot of you at the federal meet and greet, and then same at the SDI. And I wanted to apologize. Our first meet and greet on Friday afternoon was the SDI booth. If you were one of those people there, I'm sorry. I really am. I apologize. Anybody who knows me, for the last 50 years knows that I am never late for anything. I'm not. I'm not only am I early, I'm really early. I'm the guy who was at work at 5 in the morning when you needed to be there at 7. That's me. Ask people I talk with, any of them. I always got a lot of work done. There was a couple hours before people start coming in, whatever I was doing, any office I worked in, or in education. That's just the way I am. And if I've got anything going on I've got to be at, I'm there early. We get to meet and greets about 30 minutes early. Just make sure everything is set up, and we'll even stop by before the meet and greet, like that morning, if we're at a meeting like that, a convention, everything ready, what we're going to be doing, where we're going to be, everything okay? Okay, we'll see you at 2 then, or see you at 4. We'll see you about 30 minutes early. We'll be over there. Well, I had all those written down. They're in the description, of course. I have been there for a long time of all the videos, and I, one was at 2, one was at 3, and all this kind of thing. Well, I looked at my phone or my email and my schedule, my calendar. It's a Google Calendar I use. It's on my computer, and then it's on my phone. So I'm checking my phone. Okay. Oh, okay. The SDI was at 3. Okay. So I remember when I looked at it, I was thinking it was a little bit earlier, but okay, 3 o'clock's right there. I know my calendar's right and everything. So I told John, we got that at 3, and he'd get over there around 2:30. And we even told him we'd be back at 3. We stopped by that morning and everything. Well, Zeke texts us, and about, I don't know, he sends us a text at about 5 till 2 or something like that. Well, there's a lot of people over here, they're ready or whatever. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. Well, people show up an hour early? Interesting. So we thought we better get started heading that way. We'll just start early, So we met a lot of people along the way, of course, viewers, you all. So we did get over there around 2:30, and thought we were 30 minutes early. Everybody, a lot of people were there. So okay, let's start meeting people, start meeting and greeting, and that's what we did. Well, come to find out, John and I were eating dinner that night, and I said, that's just not right. Why did those folks show up so early? That's odd, And he looked at a video and said, "Oh man, it was scheduled for 2 o'clock. That's why, Dad." I said, "Oh no, I put the wrong time in the descriptions." I looked at my calendar again, looked around, and I got to look at the rest of my calendar. And you know what happened? I'm not telling you this as an excuse. I really want to apologize. There's no excuse, because I'm always on time. I'm early. But I wanted to tell you the weird thing that happened. I put in times and dates. I use Google Calendar, on my computer, and then it goes to my phone and everything's it always works. It has for the last so many years. Well, I don't know if there was an update with Google or what the heck, or a phone update or what. But you know what happened? Watch for this. Some of you already know what I'm going to say. On my phone, when I went into the Eastern time zone from here in Nashville, all the times on my Google Calendar jumped, and on the computer too, because I checked it later, all the times bumped up or back an hour. So if I had an appointment, at 2, it changed it to 3 on the calendar. How weird is that? And I was looking at it there in the restaurant, telling John, "Oh no, it changed." I look back at a bunch of things I had on my calendar the week before, that, last month, and everything on the calendar, months behind or prior to that, it added an hour to everything I had on there and everything coming up. And then when we came back to Nashville, it went back to normal. Now you tell me, why would anybody want that? Now I don't know if it's a setting or what that got changed, but why would anybody want to do that? You know, I've got a meeting in California next week and with someone, let's say, and we're going to have a lunch, meeting, and they say, yeah, let's just meet at 11:30, beat some of the rush maybe, in LA. All right, so I put in 11:30, for that lunch on my Google Calendar. When I get to LA, what good's it do if it tells me it's 9:30? That meeting's at 9:30. Why would you want your calendar to do that? Why would that even be a potential setting? I don't know. Anyway, I still haven't figured out why I did it, but that's what happened, and that's why I was late. I didn't discover it. If I had been like really certain of the time for some reason, if it had been like a noon lunch meeting or something, I'd have, wait a minute, we were going to meet at lunch at noon, not one. It might have occurred to me, but it didn't. And so I apologize, you people that showed up at the SDI booth an hour, on time, put it that way, and we were late. So anyway, and the thing is, no one said anything about it. No one at SDI or none of you that were there said, where you been? Hey, God, well, how come you're late, man? We're going to hang you up on your toes. No one said a word. So everybody was still just very friendly and glad to see it. I guess they thought we were just being fashionably late or something, but we don't do that. So anyway, I want to apologize for that. What else was I going to talk? What did you want to hear about? Any other kind of rambling? Can't think of any other fire. There were lots. Oh, here's one I've got out here. Let me grab it. This came in. This I didn't. Well, I guess I did see one there. This is a what's it called? Well, it's a Hawkeye Model 77 that just came in today as well. And I took a shot with it. First time I'd ever fired a .338 Winchester Magnum. I thought we needed one of these. It'd be fun to get a big boomer. .338 is not the biggest, but it's a pretty popular chambering. And this is a pretty neat rifle. And so I looked through the Bud's list of firearms. And it's got that laminate stock. We grow a lot of laminate trees here. And so it's got some native Tennessee wood here, on the stock. I don't know if you can see that. It's a nice laminate. We have 8 or 10 of those laminate trees, as I've mentioned before, here on the compound. But it's pretty cool. Looking forward to shooting. I think it'll knock a bowling pin over, don't you? So, again, that's the beauty of working with the people that help us. It helps us bring more firearms to you. And then they go back. And again, if you're not aware, most of you watch these are Bud's, we're finished with them. We don't get anything out of it other than having the firearm. Bud's auctions them off on eGunner. You all buy them. And 10% goes to the Second Harvest Food Bank here in Middle Tennessee for that. So, and thousands of dollars have come back to Tennessee for that. So it's a win-win situation. And we all like those kinds of, that's an overused phrase, right? Win-win, I guess, but it is kind of a win-win deal. So we appreciate you all supporting that. Appreciate you watching. I like to do one of these about once a month, not make them too long, and just wear you out, just ramble about stupid stuff that's interesting to me, not to you. No, we appreciate y'all coming. We appreciate you showing up at the meet and greets at the NRA meeting. We met so many of you all walking around. I don't know. It has to be in the hundreds, even aside from the meet and greets. And it's always a pleasure. Don't ever hesitate to well, you're not interrupting. Don't ever hesitate to walk up and say hi. I was in a restaurant in Nashville today, and 2 people came. One guy was from Detroit. Good to meet you, by the way. Was down here in Nashville, I think, on his anniversary with his wife. And another guy from Rhode Island came up to me before we got out of the restaurant downtown at Puckett's. Really neat restaurant in Nashville if you've never eaten there. But anyway, I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to shut up and say that we, again, are so glad that you come and watch our silly videos, and we just do what we do. Some people like them, some people don't. Some people might like our approach, some people might not. But enough do that we're going to keep doing what we do and keep the same approach that we have. We appreciate the people that help us. We appreciate you all. We appreciate anybody who supports the people that help us. And I'm going to sign off, I guess. There's probably something else I could bore you with, but I can't think of it right now. Life is good.